You know that voice that talks to you when no one's around? That voice that pokes at you in the middle of your routine and tells you there's something really wrong with this world. That's not just in your head. That's your consciousness knocking at the door. That's the alchemy of consciousness calling you, because your time has come. If you're hearing this right now, understand one thing. You didn't end up here by accident. You were already chosen. Not by me, not by anyone. It was your own consciousness that pulled you here, because way back, before you were even born, you decided you weren't going to live your life asleep. And this is the moment you've been waiting for lifetimes. It's now. The first thing you need to understand is simple and brutal. They lied to you. From day one, they made you believe you're just this restless mind inside your head and this body you see in the mirror. They trained you to think logically, to measure everything, to analyze everything, to disconnect everything. They turned you into a tiny biological robot that's born, works, dies, and that's it. But this is a prison, an invisible prison that made you forget who you really are. You are not your mind. You are not your body. This is just the costume your consciousness wears to play this human theater. Amit Goswami, a monist physicist, proved this. The foundation of reality was never matter. The foundation is consciousness. The brain doesn't create any thoughts. It just picks them up. It's an antenna. But they handed you this antenna full of static, with a rigged frequency, only picking up what's useful to this matrix. If you're hearing this now, you've already walked through the first door. You've already started to remember. And that's what alchemy is about. It's not about learning something new. It's about remembering who you are, remembering what you've always been. You are pure consciousness. You are the whole itself looking at itself through these eyes. You heard it. You felt it. There's no going back. And now I'm going to show you what to do with it. Everything you see, touch, feel, hear, and even what you think, all of it is vibration. Every single thing. It doesn't matter if it's your skin, the air you breathe, or the wall of your house. Everything's vibrating, just at different frequencies. That's exactly what Itzhak Bentov showed in his studies. And this ain't just some spiritual talk. This is straight up science. The denser the vibration, the more solid and tangible the thing feels. The lighter it gets, the more subtle, the more invisible, the harder it is to catch. Your body is a chunk of dense vibration. It has shape, limits, texture. Your thoughts, on the other hand, are light vibrations. They pass like wind, no weight, no color, but they're real. And your spirit? It vibrates at such a subtle frequency that your body can't fully capture it. It's like trying to hold fog in your hands, but it's that spirit that keeps you alive. That's the thing inside you, packed up, folded and compressed into this space called a body. Your body is an antenna, a meat capsule designed to hold this divine spark, but don't get it twisted. Your spirit is way bigger than this antenna can catch. That's why you feel this emptiness. That's why nothing in this world ever really fills you up. Because your spirit is infinite, and you're trying to squeeze the infinite into a 5-foot or 6-foot body. It's impossible. And if you still think you're separate from the rest of the world, if you think your body is one thing, and that tree over there is something else, you can drop that idea right now. That's an illusion. Itzhak Bentov showed it, and quantum physics finished the job. Everything's connected. Every atom in you is linked to every atom in everything that exists. That's what they call quantum entanglement. You move here, it vibrates there. You think here, it affects something there. There's no real separation. Separation is just a limited perception created by your senses and reinforced by everything they taught you to believe. And you know who said this way before modern science? The Kybalion. It's all in there. Such a tiny, straightforward book, but it holds truths the whole world ignored. It spells it out. Nothing is at rest. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. There's no such thing as dead matter. No absolute silence. No fixed point in the universe. From atoms to galaxies, everything pulses. Every level of existence vibrates on its own scale, but no level escapes this rule. That means there's no wall between matter and mind and spirit spirit, and the whole. The only difference is the frequency of the vibration. The lower it is, the slower, the denser, the more stuck to the material world. The higher it gets, the faster, the more subtle, the closer to the source itself. That's why people who only believe in matter stay locked in the lowest frequency possible, crawling on the floor of existence, unable to see past their own nose. And there's more. The Kybalion also talks about the difference between mental vibrations, thoughts of hate, envy, fear, guilt, all that vibrates low. Thoughts of love, connection, understanding, those vibrate high. Your mind is a vibrational key. It can drag you down to the basement or pull you up to the sky. But nobody told you that. Nobody said your thoughts are a controllable frequency. They made you believe thoughts are just random stuff floating through your head. That's a lie. Your thoughts are a transmitting antenna. They send and receive vibrations non-stop. You're a walking broadcaster and receiver. What you tune into, you receive. What you put out, you spread into the field. All of it is vibration, all the time. No breaks. Not even when you sleep do you stop vibrating. So look at your hand right now. Look at your table, your floor, your phone. All of it seems solid, but it's just slowed down vibration. Everything is energy playing dress up as form. You're already part of it. There's no line separating you from the world. There's no edge between inside and outside. You are the whole vibrating as this temporary shape. They just forgot to tell you that. And now that you know, there's no excuse to keep sleeping. And it's exactly when you start understanding that everything is vibration that the first portal opens up. And this portal ain't out there in some hidden temple or locked away in some sacred book. Nobody ever taught you to notice it. The world trained you to be just a floating head, dragging the rest of your body around like it's just some tool. That's why your mind's so noisy, and your body feels like a stranger. You got disconnected. Your consciousness got squished into a tiny box of compulsive thoughts and chronic anxiety. But real consciousness isn't that. Real consciousness is when you spread your presence into every inch of yourself, when you feel the energy moving through your hands, when you feel your spine like a channel vibrating light from top to bottom, when you breathe and feel the vibration of life flowing through you. Have you ever noticed how little kids are fully present in their bodies? They feel everything. They experience everything. They're fully there in every touch, every movement, every gesture. Then school, logic, the system, all of that comes along and starts stealing that presence away. You turn into a walking mind. Your body becomes just a thing that carries your brain around, and you forget how to live inside your own house. The first expansion of consciousness is this homecoming. It's spreading your awareness back into your legs, your arms, your skin. It's remembering that consciousness isn't just thinking. Consciousness is feeling. It's being. It's fully existing inside your own body. Without that foundation, without coming back to your body, there's no real spirituality. Anyone trying to transcend without first fully living inside their own inner temple is just running away. Spirit only flies when the body grows roots, and the mind only quiets down when the body wakes up. That's the first portal, coming back to yourself. And only after that, way after that, will you be ready to expand beyond the body and remember that you are the whole. Beyond the body, beyond the mind. And when you finally come back into your body and spread your awareness through every inch of yourself, something happens. You start to feel what exists beyond it, because consciousness has no walls, no borders. It doesn't stop at your skin. You are so much more than this flesh, so much more than this mind. The body is just the first portal. The mind is just a tool. But real consciousness is the whole itself. You are the whole. You always have been. They just forgot to tell you. Amit Goswami already explained this way back. Everything is mind, but this mind isn't your personal mind with its thoughts and crises. It's a cosmic mind, a universal consciousness that exists before form, before time, before history. That's where you came from. You're a fragment of that infinite mind, thrown inside this body, living this temporary experience just to remember who you really are. But nobody tells you this because they want you small. They want you believing you're just a smart piece of meat, a biological accident that thinks and then dies. And here's something important. A lot of people mix this up. When the Kybalion says the all is mind, it's not talking about your individual mind, that inner voice that's always thinking and judging. The all is mind, but this mind is the primordial mind, the matrix of existence, the infinite field where everything is born and dissolved. Now that primordial mind is pure consciousness way before it turns into thought. Your personal mind, the one talking to you right now, is just a tiny cracked shell of that greater mind. It's an antenna trying to pick up the all's frequency, but full of static, full of filters, full of memories, full of beliefs. Your personal mind is not the all. It's just a little wave inside the ocean, but it's not the whole ocean. The all is mind, but you are not your mind. That's the key. The Hermetic masters wrote this down thousands of years ago. Hermes Trismegistus taught that the brain is just a receiver, a meat antenna pulling signals from the infinite. And the body is the Athanor, the alchemical furnace where the true work happens. You are the lab, you are the raw material, and you are the alchemist himself. That's in the emerald tablet. As within, so without. That means your body is just a miniaturized version of the whole universe. Every one of your cells is a tiny star. Every beat of your heart is the echo of a cosmic explosion. Your blood flows like the rivers. Your lungs breathe like the forest. Your body is the earth. Your mind is the sky. And you are the one who watches both. If you hear this story, you'll understand what I'm saying. They say that in an ancient land, there was a young alchemy apprentice searching for the secret of immortality. He traveled across the deserts and mountains looking for masters and scrolls, trying to find the formula that would set his soul free. One day, a very old, almost blind sage came to him and handed him a mirror. The young man thought it was a joke. How could a mirror hold the secret to immortality? The old man only said one sentence, "Look, but really look." The apprentice spent days staring into that mirror, waiting for some magical revelation, until one day, completely exhausted, he stopped looking at the reflection and started looking at the act of looking itself. He realized he wasn't the face in the mirror, nor the thoughts about the mirror. He was the one who looks. He was the awareness behind it all. In that moment, the mirror shattered, and the apprentice saw his own face reflected in every piece, every fragment, every grain of dust on the floor. He understood there was no separation. He was the mirror, the reflection, the gaze, and the space in between. That was the day he died to the illusion of the mind and was born into the consciousness of the whole. That's the secret nobody tells you. You are not the reflection. You are not the content of your mind. You are the one who watches, and the one who watches has no form, no name, no limit. You are the whole playing at being you. The illusion of linear time. And when you understand that you are the one who watches, not the content of your mind, something inside you starts to crack open. A slit, a fracture in the shell of your everyday perception. That's when you start noticing something that's been in your face the whole time, but you never really questioned it. Time. This time, that keeps running non-stop. The one they taught you to see as a straight line. Past turning into present, then into future, always moving forward like an arrow. That's one of the biggest illusions in this reality. Itzhak Bentov proved this with a simple, genius experiment. He took regular people and had them meditate while staring directly at the second hand of a clock. Just watch it. No expectations, no forcing anything. And what happened? Within minutes, almost everyone started experiencing time in a weird way. Some saw the hand slow down. Others saw it stop completely. Others felt like it dissolved and just disappeared. You know why? Because linear time is a product of your rational mind, the way your brain translates the experience of matter. But real consciousness, the one who watches, isn't trapped in that. Real consciousness lives in absolute presence. Outside the body, outside the mind, time isn't a line. Time is an ocean. Einstein already made this clear when he showed that time is relative. It bends, it stretches, it contracts. And if it does that here, in the physical world, Imagine what it does in the subtle layers of consciousness. That's exactly what meditation is. Hacking your perception of time, stepping out of the straight line and diving into open time, where past, present, and future are just different angles of the same field. That's why deep meditation feels like eternity, because you leave the programmed mind and step into the real perception of consciousness. And in that perception, everything already happened and is still happening. You're not going anywhere, you're just remembering. That's the real secret behind Hermeticism and internal alchemy. A true alchemist isn't looking for anything. He remembers. He dissolves the illusion of separation and coagulates unity inside himself. Solvet coagula. He dissolves the false self, the character trapped in time and space, and remembers he is eternity itself, compacted into a temporary form. That memory is the gold of the great work, and that memory isn't written in any book. It's inside you. But then comes the next veil, the next lie they planted in your head since you were a kid, the placebo. They made you believe the world is only what you see, touch, and measure. They taught you there's this thing called objective reality, the same for everyone, and that only what can be proven outside of you is real. That's the strongest placebo they ever put in your mind, because if you believe that, you'll never look within. You'll never remember. You'll think that everything inside you is just dreams, imagination, fantasy. But that's a belief, and belief is just another form of placebo. If you believe only matter exists, your brain will only show you matter. If you believe reality is only what your senses can capture, your consciousness will lock itself inside those 5 tiny channels. Placebo isn't just fake medicine working because you believe it. Placebo is the whole structure of your perception. The mind believes, and the universe obeys. Plato already explained this with the theory of reminiscence. You don't learn anything new, you only remember what you already know. It's all inside. You've already been, already seen, already lived. But they forgot to tell you. And since they made you believe you're just this body and just this mind, you lost access to the infinite library encoded in your own consciousness. When you break the placebo and stop blindly believing what the world says is real, you open that inner door. And that's when you start remembering. And remember time? That's placebo too. It only looks linear because you believe it is. But when you drop that belief, when you meditate or enter deep states of presence, you see that time is just a projection. At the center of your consciousness, there's no before or after. There's only now. And this now contains everything. The past, the future, the lives you've already lived, the ideas you're still gonna have. It's all here, laid out on the table, just waiting for you to remember. And when you realize time is just a reflection of belief, and that the memory of the whole lives inside you, something even bigger starts to happen. You look at the world out there, and you feel something weird. It's like that tree, that wall, that rock, even that stranger walking down the street, they all feel like part of you. At first, your mind tries to explain it away. Must be some weird feeling, some random empathy, nothing important. But it's not. You're starting to expand beyond form. Your consciousness is spilling out of your body and touching everything around you. Because real consciousness has no limit. It's a unified field, and that field flows through everything. Your body is just an island in this endless sea, but your consciousness is the sea itself. And when you remember that, you don't just perceive the world, you enter it. You feel the tree's vibration. You feel the pulse of the rock. You realize what seemed like the other was never other. It was always you. Shamans have known this for thousands of years. They call it merging with the spirit of nature. When they touch a tree in an expanded state of consciousness, they don't touch it from the outside. They enter the tree. They feel what it's like to be a root, to pull water from the earth, to sway in the wind. They dissolve their own ego and become the leaf, the trunk, the sap. This isn't a metaphor, it's a technique. It's a spiritual practice. And it's exactly what your system-programmed mind doesn't want you to discover, because a mind that knows how to live inside the world is a free mind. You can practice this right now. No fancy ritual, no spiritual fluff. Pick an object, your table, your cup, your shoe. Put your attention on it, but not like you're observing it from the outside. Look from within. Feel what it's like to be that object. Imagine your awareness stretching, flowing, inhabiting that thing. Feel its density, its weight, its texture, the story it carries. If you do this for real, no judgment, no expectations, sooner or later you'll get it. You're not looking at something else. You're looking at yourself. The object and you are the same thing. Condensed matter. Slowed down vibration. Fragments of the same field. The traps of the matrix. And when you finally feel that fusion with the world, when you realize there's no inside or outside, that's when you run into what we can call the resistance of the matrix, because the matrix isn't just some economic or political control system. The real matrix is vibrational. It needs you to keep vibrating heavy, dense, stuck at the lower levels of your consciousness. And you know how it does that? Through your routine, your food, the air you breathe, the screen you can't put down. All of that was designed to keep you spinning in circles inside your lower chakras, locked into just the basics: survival, desire, and fear. When all you think about is paying bills, satisfying impulses, or protecting yourself from whatever could go wrong, you stay vibrating low. And when you vibrate low, your spiritual antenna can't pick up anything beyond this tiny little bubble. You lose your ability to remember. You forget your body is a temple. You forget your mind is a tool. You forget your consciousness is the universe itself. This is the invisible war nobody talks about. A vibrational war where your state of consciousness is the battlefield. And the attack doesn't just come from what you eat or drink. It comes from everything you consume with your eyes and your mind. Pop culture took everything sacred and turned it into cheap entertainment. Alchemy became a game sticker. Meditation became a productivity hack. Shamanism became a Netflix theme. Everything hollowed out, packaged, and sold as a fun fact for people just trying to kill time. That's not a coincidence, because when you turn the sacred into a joke, you cut off direct access to the memory of the whole. But real spirituality isn't about running away. It never was. Spirituality is vibrational guerrilla warfare. It's remembering who you are right in the middle of a world designed to make you forget. It's learning how to clean your energy field, protect your mind, tune your antenna. It's learning how to use your own body as both shield and sword. Real spirituality is posture, it's presence, it's awareness sharp like a blade. It's standing here, fully, right inside the matrix, but never belonging to it. That's rubido, the final stage of the great work. When you don't run from matter, you turn it into light. When you don't reject the body, you light it up from the inside. That's the moment spirit and matter become one and the same. No separation, no hierarchy. That's when the philosopher's stone is born inside you. You become the creator because you remember you are the creation itself. And there's more. Time is speeding up because this transition is happening right now. It's not just you, it's everyone. Either you remember or you get lost. Because the vibration of the whole earth is rising. What's heavy and dense is going to drop. What's light and fluid is going to rise. That's not a threat. That's just nature doing what it's always done. And right now, you're standing in front of the final portal. Either you drop the identity of stone and remember your light, or you'll get pulled back down into the weight, into the illusion. The final portal is forgetting itself. Those who remember cross through. Those who forget go back into the cycle. And before we wrap this up, listen up. I saved a special video just for you for making it this far. Don't leave now. Click the video showing up on the screen because that's where we're going to keep this conversation going. And one more thing. If you felt this call to go deeper into the path of alchemy, I left 2 essential books for you down in the pinned comment, along with a direct way you can support this channel and help strengthen this work of expanding consciousness. I'll see you right now in the next video.